Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is ntTV Nightly News.
Just 2 weeks ago, North Texas was hit by severe weather, thunderstorms, hail, and damaging lightning that caused a number of house fires. Good evening, I'm Kayla Holt.
And I'm Michelle Brooks. In the next few hours, a round of thunderstorms is expected to roll through our area, and some of those storms could be severe.
Weather anchor Hannah Gonzalez is live on the UNT campus with more on what we can expect. Hannah?
Thanks, Kayla. If we look at the current conditions in Denton right now, we're sitting at 78 degrees. It was a warmer day, however, it was just gloomy all day with those cloud conditions. Now the wind is going at 13 miles per hour from the southeast. However, if we move into tonight's conditions around 9 p.m., we will see thunderstorms that will last till 6 a.m. Despite those thunderstorms, the temperatures will still remain warm at 72 degrees, and that wind will pick up at 18 miles per hour. However, if we move into tomorrow's conditions, there is a wind advisory alert that has been sent out. It will last from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. tomorrow, and despite these wind speeds, the temperatures will sit at 67 degrees, and the wind speeds are expected to reach 45 miles per hour. Now stay with us because later on in the show, I'll break down the 7-day forecast. It has been 6 weeks since that blast of ice and snow swept through Texas, and while we're still facing those damages, the city of Denton says they may have the solution. Andrew Fancher has a story. Andrew?
Thanks, Hannah. Now, as of now, we know that the storm killed at least 60 people, resulting from equipment failure and hypothermia. During that time, Denton County passed a declaration of disaster to combat the inevitable effects of the storm. As a result, permit and application fees were waived for necessary repairs. And while that did weaken the blow of the storm, Texas is hardly prepared for this severe weather season, which starts this month. Spring weather in Texas ranges anywhere from hail and flooding to tornadoes and hurricanes. Now, the declaration of disaster that I mentioned earlier is scheduled to extend, meaning that the city of Denton will continue receiving state and federal funds to combat the impact of our very dynamic climate, up to $3.5 million. But money is only half the battle, and when the inevitable does strike, this is what our UNT emergency management has to offer.
The last thing you want is for a tornado warning to be issued and you don't know where to go. And so take the time to figure out where the safest areas are. Specifically for students, think about, at your home, whether that's a residence hall, whether that's an apartment near campus, or if you live in a house, think through what's the safest place. And that's generally going to be the lowest level of the building, away from windows and away from exterior walls.
For more information on what to expect and how to prepare, visit emergency.unt.edu. That's all out here. Back to y'all at the studio.
Thanks, Andrew. But of course, UNT wasn't the only place that suffered damage this storm season. Fair Park in Dallas was severely affected by one of the most costly storms in the state's history. ntTV's David Moreno has more.
It's been nearly a month since Texas was hit with one of the biggest snowstorms in recent history. And even as the sun is coming out, the storm left large damages all across North Texas, including here, Fair Park in Dallas, where buildings like the Hall of State are facing millions of dollars in damages. Fair Park in Dallas is one of the city's largest attractions year-round, but following the snowstorm in February, the area has been left with some serious damages inside more than 20 buildings. On March 4th, the Dallas Park and Recreation Department released a report that said the damages inside of the Hall of State caused by the burst pipes will cost roughly $3.7 million to fix. The building is currently closed to visitors as workers continue to repaint and repair the inside. Other buildings in Fair Park are also facing damages, but the cost of many of those repairs have not yet been determined. According to the City Park and Recreation Department, the next step is to work with the city to figure out funding for the damages. Now the Hall of State will remain closed to the public as the city continues to fix all of the repairs going on inside. But hopefully soon enough, people can come through and walk the halls once again.
The consequences of the winter storm are still adding up. The Dallas Park and Recreation Department is also including Dallas Zoo and Clyde Warren Park among those with damage on the $1 million.
If you commute to UNT, then you have definitely seen an increase in gas prices. Nationally, gas prices are nearing $3 a gallon. AAA says people are now paying 14% more at the pump this month than they did in February. The current average price per gallon of unleaded is $2.87. Up to 20 states have seen double-digit jumps, with prices continuing to rise. AAA says experts are seeing a tightening of supply and an increase in demand. And with the gas prices skyrocketing, plane tickets may sound more appealing. Air travel hit a new pandemic record over the weekend, with more people traveling by air in the last 4 days. CNN's Mandy Gaylor has more.
When it comes to air travel, the numbers say it all. 5.2 million people have flown since Thursday, a new pandemic record. But the airline industry is still struggling.
Our business is still off relative to 2019 levels, pre-pandemic levels. It's still down 65%, at least in February.
The industry's hoping the new numbers are the start of a comeback, especially after it just received $40 billion in a new stimulus. But recovery is not yet a sure bet. Southwest Airlines CEO Gary Kelly says it may take 5 years or more to recover to pre-pandemic levels of business travel.
Right now, we're very dependent upon consumers to fill up our airplanes. Our hope is that by the time we get to June, where you've had much of the population having had access to vaccinations, that we've got a chance at breaking even at least.
Airlines for America says the U.S. is unlikely to see a return to pre-pandemic passenger volumes before 2023. Right now, the organization says most people are booking travel only a couple weeks out. As for the air industry's future, it's still hard to forecast, but there's hope.
I think there are very clear signs that our business is picking up, which is very consistent from everything else that we're reading.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Mandy Gaither.
And just to ensure passenger safety, 2 more COVID-19 testing facilities opened up at Reagan National and Dulles International airports.
After the break, we'll tell you about how the Moderna vaccine may be making a life-changing impact in newborn babies.
And a local farmer gives us his advice on how to keep ourselves and the world healthy.
Hey, listen to my flow to save some H2O. This my water rhyme, and this is how it goes. First, turn off the sink and take some time to think. When you waste water, our supply shrinks. When you take a shower, not more than an hour. Shoot for 10 minutes and save water power. Use a reusable bottle, smart like Aristotle. Ditch all the plastic and be a role model. And that was my H2O flow. Please remember how it goes, because if you don't, Earth will go, oh no!
Sorry. Oh, sorry, man. Oh, sorry.
Imagine it's ice cream day at the office. And everyone from the day before voted for their favorite flavor. Everyone but you. You decided not to vote. The flavor they picked isn't the one that you wanted. But can you really complain? Shh! Now imagine that with an elected official.
Choose not to vote, choose not to be heard. Get registered today.
Kids are now in trial to test the safety of COVID-19 vaccines. Maker Moderna is now testing children from 6 months to 11 years old as part of their pediatric trial. About 6,700 children in the U.S. and Canada are involved. They will be getting the doses of the vaccine 28 days apart, with one group only getting a placebo. Last December, the FDA authorized the emergency use of Moderna vaccine on adults. And while some babies are getting Moderna vaccines, one baby in Florida inherited it. A pregnant healthcare worker received the Moderna vaccine, and now the newborn shows the same antibodies. CNN Anna Espinosa tells us what this means for the fight against COVID-19.
To our knowledge, this was the first in the world that was reported of a baby being born with antibodies after a vaccination.
According to the doctors, a local frontline healthcare worker was 36 weeks pregnant when she was given the first dose of the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine. The baby girl was born 3 weeks later in late January, and a blood sample was taken.
We tested the baby's, what we call the cord blood, or the baby's blood, to see if the antibodies from the vaccine in the mother passed to the baby, which is something that we see happen with other vaccines given during pregnancy.
The results showed the baby had the COVID-19 antibodies. Dr. Rudnick says this is significant in the fight to protect children from COVID.
This is one small case in what will be thousands and thousands of babies born to mothers who've been vaccinated over the next several months.
But the article on the findings published by the local pediatricians on MedRxiv says there are some factors that indicate that newborns born to vaccinated mothers will remain at risk for infection.
Further studies have to determine how long this protection will last. They have to determine at what level of protection or how many antibodies does a baby need to have circulating in order to give them protection.
The doctors say their paper has been accepted for publication as well, and they're waiting for the journal to put it on their site.
With this interesting finding, pharmaceutical companies are moving to study how the vaccine interacts with genetic material on pregnant women.
And while this isn't great news, it doesn't lessen the importance of COVID testing here at UNT. Hours for those important tests have expanded. ntTV's Chris Cardova is live at the Union with all the details.
Well, Phil, so I was like, I said 7-day weekend. She's like, I didn't even know.
That's right, Michelle. Students and staff are still able to get free COVID-19 testing. UNT has actually extended their hours for testing here on campus. I'm here with business major Kristen Herrera. How do you feel about the expanded testing hours?
I think it's great that students are getting more opportunities to get tested. I think it's just going to help keep us all safe.
Great. Do you think you and your friends will take advantage of the new expanded hours?
Absolutely. I think I have already been coming once a week, so now that I know that there's different times I can come, it's more convenient now.
Thank you, Kristen. The new hours for testing at both locations are from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. Testing during the weekend will be available only at the Union from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Sunday from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. That's a 5-hour extension of previous testing times. That's all I have today. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Chris. Kayla, can you believe how warm it's been lately?
I know, I'm surprised it's been so consistent, but knowing Texas weather, we know a change is bound to happen. Let's head over to Hannah to find out. Hannah?
That's right, Kayla. If you're just tuning in, Denton is sitting comfortably at 78 degrees across North Texas. Now, if we look at our map, we're seeing a bunch of 7s, a few cities, Graham, McKinney, Decatur, all sitting at 77 degrees. Now, Fort Worth, a bit warmer at 80. I mentioned earlier about that wind advisory that does apply across the Metroplex. However, if we zoom out and look at our state map, we can see Abilene at 80, Austin a bit warmer at 81. Now I do want to focus on Amarillo. Right now they're sitting at 70 degrees. However, tomorrow it will take a turn for them. They will be seeing a high of 44 and a low 29, and they did have a blizzard warning sent out to them, and they will expect to see 1 to 3 inches of snow, but that's just Texas weather for you. Now moving into the 7-day forecast, Tomorrow we will see a high of 67, low of 42, and now those high wind speeds will stick with us until Thursday with a high of 62, low of 40. Now Thursday is going to be our coolest day of the week. However, if we move into the weekend on Saturday, we see a high of 65, low of 46 with sunny skies. Sunday the same with a high of 71, low of 55. Now moving into the start of our work week, we will see a 60% chance of thunderstorms with a high of 70, low of 54. So make sure you enjoy the weekend while you can. That's all I have for weather tonight. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Hannah. Eating locally grown food has many benefits: fewer pesticides and more nutrients, fewer food miles, and less of an impact on the environment. And there's another benefit. One millennial in Denton is trying to teach North Texans how farming can unite us. And our Living Green segment anchor, Rochelle Cedeno, has more.
Thanks, Kayla. Local farming can make our community healthier and more connected to our planet. This Denton farmer knows how.
This North Texan farmer grows more than just food. He grows environmental awareness in his community and promotes spiritual farming.
It's not just about farming, is people being able to see themselves, seeing how they could be more.
He founded Misty Moon Farm in 2017 and wants to show people how life-changing farming can be.
We want it to be an educational center. We want people to be able to come out here and see how to farm. Society as a whole is not sustainable. There's the inputs that it's taking to maintain the system of westernized modern life are being more and more. They're depleting resources, and the outputs for in the long run, for the next 7 generations of people, it's not gonna turn out well.
Buying locally grown food is also a step for reducing your impact on the environment.
It's very important that people buy their food from places like this. When you're getting food at the store, even if it's organic, local is more important than organic in terms of nutrition, which is eye-opening for a lot of people. So even if your local person isn't 100% organic, it's going to have more nutrition than organic stuff from the store. And that just has to do with if you're transporting it, you have to harvest it early. It loses nutrition as soon as you pick it. So if you have to travel a far ways, if it's coming across the border from Mexico, they have to irrigate it, longer shipping times. So the quality of it is just going down and down and down. And I'm young, I'm 30 years young right now, and I want to keep growing that ability to be able to touch people that way. Be the change you wish to grow.
The best way to support local farms is to shop at a local farmers market. Here coming up, we have Denton's Community Market that runs from April to November. So if you're thinking about where to get your food in the next few months, remember that local is better than organic. That's all I have for now. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Rochelle. Coming up next, we'll tell you how Tinder looks after their users' safety by making a drastic update.
We also have the story on what happened after a dog drove his owner's car.
UNT is more than 125 years in the making. To find new solutions, we create a new point of view. We know what's possible when creativity, originality, and independent thought converge. We're ranked a Tier 1 research university. We're home to excellence the size of Texas. Define your future at UNT and soar to new heights.
Popular social media platform Instagram is debuting several new features today focused on youth safety. Instagram will now restrict direct messaging between teenagers and adults they don't follow. Users will also be alerted to suspicious behavior. Other safety features include making it harder for adults to find teen accounts and a new parent guide including safety tools, privacy settings, and more. And another piece of technology aimed at your safety. Have you ever felt comfortable about a future Tinder date? Well, maybe this new feature on the app will help put you to ease. The online dating site is integrating a background check that will feature later this year. Utilizing public records, the app will start pulling users' criminal history like arrests, reports of violence, abuse, and restraining orders. All users will need is their date's first name and phone number, or just their full name to perform the background check. Testing is set to begin in a few months, and Tinder's parent company Match Group will likely add it to their other platforms like OkCupid, Hinge, and Match.
They say dogs are a man's best friend. Now that may be true, but I'm not so sure about their driving ability. Police in Wisconsin say a dog drove his owner's car right into a building. Aisha Morales has the report.
It was just another day at work for Megan Lundahl, owner of the Pearl of Door County in Sturgeon Bay, when suddenly
was facing this way and boom, a Jeep just bam right into the window, right into the root chakra.
Turns out the perpetrator is 5-year-old Callie, an Australian Shepherd who, according to Sturgeon Bay police, was waiting at this gas station for her owner who was inside a local bakery. But Callie had plans of her own.
With bad cellular service, I said, wait a minute, I think you said a dog drove into the building. And she said, no, you heard it right. So, of course, 1,000 jokes happen, like, boy, is his rates going up, or, you know, did he have any prior convictions?
A bit of a crazy start to the day, but no humans or dogs were hurt. Despite structural damage done to the inside of the building, everyone remains positive about the situation.
Unconfirmed reports say Callie may have been making her way next door to this Door County dog store. When officers responded to the scene and they got there, Callie was already in the passenger seat, maybe to avoid suspicion.
Sturgeon Bay police say no paw prints were taken, but Callie, with a face that says, "Forgive me," now has a suspended doggy license. Callie's owner says she may have bumped the shifter into drive. He's just glad everyone is okay. As a dog lover herself, Megan laughs it off, also grateful knowing it could have been worse.
I have a shop dog that's with me often, Carmen, and I told her that if she's going to invite her friends over, just to have them use the front door.
Now I feel like everywhere I turn, sports are happening here at UNT.
I know, and it's not just the men's basketball team making some noise either. Let's head over to our sports anchor, Justin Ballou, to hear what other UNT sports team is making a mark in Conference USA this season.
National Invitational Tournament that takes place at the UNT Coliseum later this week.
When you park in front of the ramp, somebody can't make it up the ramp. When somebody can't make it up the ramp, they miss their class. When they miss their class, they fail their final. When they fail their final, they drop out of school. If you drop out of school, you get a face tattoo from a guy named Scorpion. Don't get a face tattoo from a guy named Scorpion. Be courteous. Don't block wheelchair ramps.
You've made yourself a target, James.
Okay, that's perfect. But I had a great time talking to you today. I have one more question. Is wrestling really real?
What?
The UNT men's basketball team is Conference USA tournament champions. They defeated Middle Tennessee, Old Dominion, La Tech, and Western Kentucky in 4 straight days to win the title. Javian Hamlet was the leading scorer for UNT in every game of the conference tournament and stepped up in crunch time to put these teams away. Mardrez McBride and Thomas Bell also stepped up in big-time moments throughout the tournament. But the defense was the key this entire tournament. No tournament opponent scored over 58 points on the Mean Green. And I just have to say that with this defense, no matter the opponent, UNT can beat anybody. The Mean Green are back-to-back Conference USA champions and Conference USA tournament champions for the first time ever. UNT will advance to March Madness for the first time since 2010 when they won the Sun Belt Conference. The Mean Green will be a 13 seed in the NCAA tournament, which is their highest seeding in program history. They will take on 4-seeded Purdue in the first round on Friday at 6:25. The National Invitational Tournament tips off tomorrow at the UNT Coliseum. The tournament will be taking place in both Denton and in Frisco. The first round matchups being held at the Super Pit will be Toledo versus Richmond on Wednesday, NC State versus Davidson on Thursday, Buffalo versus Colorado State on Friday, and Dayton versus Memphis on Saturday. Both Louisiana Tech and Western Kentucky will play in the NIT, the 2 division winners from Conference USA this season. Now, there were questions about if the Mean Green would get selected for the NIT if they didn't make March Madness, but it looks like we don't have to worry about that anymore. UNT was selected to co-host the NIT tournament in partnership with the city of Frisco. But the question is, how does UNT benefit from the NIT? Senior Associate Director of UNT Athletics told us, quote, "There is no monetary benefit to us, just the exposure of having 6 games on national TV on your campus with your branding at the venue," end quote. The NIT tournament will accumulate on March 28th with the championship game. The UNT soccer team suffered their first loss of the season on Sunday against number 15 Oklahoma State. Maddie Starrett, Taylor Hunter, and Taylor Tufts scored the trio of goals for the Mean Green. All 3 of those goals came in corner kick situations. A header and double overtime for the Cowgirls gave them the 4-3 win. UNT's streaks of 29 home matches unbeaten and 18 straight home victories come to an end. The Mean Green are now 5-1 on the year and 2-0 in conference play. Their next match is on Sunday on the road at Southern Miss. That's all for sports. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Justin. We all know former First Lady Michelle Obama is one with many talents. But did you know she cooks? And she'll be teaching kids how to cook on her new Netflix series.
The series called Waffles and Mochi will star Michelle Obama as a supermarket owner with 2 puppets that want to become chefs.
As a First Lady, she advocated for her Let's Move Health campaign. Now, as an executive producer for the show, this is another effort to promote healthy diets and exercise among children.
And Kayla, even though this is a kid's show, I'm really excited to watch it. Every episode will also have a special celebrity appearance.
I think I'll be learning a thing or two because I definitely cannot cook.
I'm really looking forward to the tips. Maybe we can catch an episode together sometime?
Definitely. For sure.
Thanks for watching us on ntTV Nightly News.
Join us again tomorrow night at 6 here on North Texas Television.